How is it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Michael Balco Show. Today, I am super excited to announce my guest. Our guest for today is Mike Mitchell, who is a running back and defensive back who reopened his recruitment recently following a season at Temple. Welcome to the show, my man. And first and foremost, bro, we're gonna have to rep your hometown. So tell us about your hometown and just kind of rep your area code real quick. What makes it so special?
Well, first I'm gonna start by saying thanks for having me for sure. But hometown is in the Poconos, Pocono Mountain in Pennsylvania, 570. I went to Pleasant Valley High School. Moved to the Poconos from Jersey when I was about 5 or 6. I lived in West Orange, New Jersey, and but I did most of all my elementary, all my high school, all my middle school, all at Pleasant Valley in the Poconos. So 570.
That's what's up. I'm also a Pennsylvania boy right now, at least. I've lived all over the country, but I'm out here in Erie, so I know where you're at.
Erie, that doesn't seem far.
No,
I
I don't.
really haven't heard of that.
I don't think it is too far. I mean, it's a relatively solid city. I mean, it's like biggish, but like not too big, so it's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell us about your recruiting process out of high school and kind of what kind of schools were showing interest in you.
Well, out of high school, I had so many schools. It's just I didn't have the grades. Like I remember it was UCLA, Baylor, North Texas, Rutgers, Pitt, JMU, Ole Miss, Temple. It was so many different schools, but like I didn't have the GPA requirement. I don't know if I mentioned Rutgers, but I remember in West Virginia, it was just a lot of schools that was talking to me. A bunch of them, James Madison and Pittsburgh. I got an article about JMU, Pittsburgh, and Ole Miss all really wanted to take me, but I didn't have the 2.3. I was like zero point 0.2 off or something like that. Yeah. So then I had to go to a junior college. I had a lot of JUCO offers, and I had went to Iowa Western out of high school because I saw they were like ranked like top 3 JUCO in the nation and played in the national championship like the prior year.
Yeah. So you just kind of mentioned it. You spent 2 years at the JUCO level, two different teams. Kind of what was that experience like? And how similar was it to like what you see on like Netflix with like Last Chance U? Like, was it like that, or kind of what was your experience like?
Well, the Last Chance U, I've only seen the first 2 seasons of Last Chance U. I didn't really watch. The only episode I ever watched the Last Chance U season 3 was the episode that we were on Iowa Western when we beat Indy, like the first episode, 70-21.
You were on that team?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, we killed Indy that year. I want to say that it's not the Iowa Western was like a great junior college. It's like probably better than every college, like probably almost every college I've seen. Like the facilities, the way they treat the players, like you don't get treated like you were in JUCO. And like it was like a whole different atmosphere. It was just, and we were like mad close to Omaha, Nebraska, only like a 10-minute drive because we were on the borderline of Iowa. So Iowa Western was a great JUCO. But I made the transfer to ASA because Iowa was just so far from home, and I was just not like being out there in the middle of nowhere. It just wasn't for me. And then like I already had like built up a name for myself where I'm like I could go transfer JUCOs because ASA is only like an hour and 20 minutes from home, and like all my family could come to all my games. Like I knew how easy it was to make it out of JUCO, and I had a good GPA from Iowa, so I'm like I'm just gonna transfer to a JUCO way closer where I could always go home. Because in Iowa I wasn't really home for Thanksgiving, or like I was never just gonna be home. But ASA's JUCO, now that's a lot like worse than Last Chance U. ASA, we were like sleeping on a bunk bed with like 3 other people in the room, so it's like 4 of us, and we're in a tiny room. And I got 3 roommates, and we all have bunk beds. And that was ASA was pretty rough. It was like rats and roaches everywhere, like in the rooms, throughout the whole building. Yeah, ASA was like the hood.
Damn, that's yeah, that's crazy, bro. But so you came to Temple, you were preferred walk on, which is just incredible by itself, really. And you were getting ready to see some playing time. You suffered a tragic, super tragic injury, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your injury and then how it directly impacted your life.
All right, so when it first happened, like it was, I think it was the first day of full pads, actually, like the first day of full contact. We were full pads earlier that week, but it was the first day we were going hitting.
Yeah.
And I had some crazy run beforehand where like I scored, and like I had I guess like I had ran over the starting safety, and then like I guess the defense was just all like, no, Mike, go up again, go up again, go up again. They all wanted me to go up again because like I had just scored on the play before, and the defensive coaches was just yelling at the defense, like how bad the defense was doing. So then, like I say, 2-3 reps later, I went up, and like it was like the first string defense, and it was like probably fourth string offense out there. Like it was all like non-starter receivers out there, like third, fourth group. So it's like a screen drill. I go do it, run to the right. I get hit by IGM, and then like one leg got caught in the air, and the other one got stayed on the ground. And the leg that stayed on the ground was the ACL that I tore. I tore that in both meniscuses. But it was bad because my offensive coordinator was calling me like once a week every summer, making me do Zoom calls. And like I was one of the starting returners. It was me and Blue. We were two back. Like I was first on the depth chart, me and Blue. I was the other starting returner. And like my offensive coordinator had installed a couple of packages where I was in. He was like, the goal was like try and get me the ball in like 5 to 6 times in space. So I knew I was getting a lot of game action this year. Like I was like, wow, I'm about to get put on scholarship. Like it's about to be a great year. Like everything's about to start happening. And like I just happened to get injured. And when I got injured, it seemed like I was in a dark place for a while because it was like it's the first time I ever been like injured in my life like that. Like besides like little ankle sprains and little like tweaks and like stuff like that. But it was my first major injury. And like I was in a dark, low spot at the time, like low thoughts, just not in good spirits. Didn't really go to class for like the first week or two. Cause like at that point, football was like all I really knew. So when that hit me like that, like, I mean, my family came up to see me, but like my close friends did, but like they lived like all the way in the Poconos. So like when they weren't really here, kind of really didn't have them. And I felt like I was like alone in like a dark spot. Like just like my friends were at school, but like it was like different. Like I didn't want to go back to the facilities. I didn't want to like see nobody playing football. Like I just didn't want to watch football, didn't want nothing to do with football for at least like the first 2-3 weeks of the injury when it happened. I just felt like I was in a low place. Like everything was like going perfect and then everything was just stripped away from me.
Yeah, I think, even for non-athletes, I think everybody kind of has that one moment in life. And then, it ends up being like one of your biggest pieces of adversity. And then you grow from it and it makes the story that much better, regardless whether you're an athlete, regardless of what it is. So I know you made a very emotional and passionate post about like, entering the transfer portal and all of that. How tough of a decision was that? I know you were really close with some of your coaches at Temple. So kind of what led into that decision? And, yeah, just kind of how's that process going?
Well, it was like a really knowing I got hurt and like knowing like the position switch, like thinking I was gonna play DB because I know we brought in like 2-3 other people. I'm like my injury, like I don't get cleared until about July. So I wasn't gonna be able to like be in like when I made the transition to corner, I was like last on the depth chart because it's a new switch. But I'm like, all right, I'm gonna miss all the spring ball. I'm gonna miss like almost half the summer. I'm gonna be ready like right when camp starts. But that wasn't gonna like be enough. And like my coaches, like some other situation happened where like these people had like robbed some football players. Like they had like robbed some of my close friends on the team. So like and like all the stuff that was going on in Philadelphia, like with that whole robbery, that situation that happened to us. So I was like, all right, I'm about to just get up out of here. Like that was like the final straw where I'm like, all right, I'm about to just leave the school. Spoke to my family about it. Talked to my one coach in Fonte and then Coach Carey, and like they thought it was best for me. And like Coach Carey said the same thing. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna enter my name in the portal, and I'm gonna just go on and see what happens from there.
Yeah, for sure. And it's never an easy decision, and it's kind of a series of unfortunate events.
Mm-hmm.
So you've gone through all this adversity just so early into your football career, like into your life. You've already been to 2 JUCOs. You had hella offers at the D1 level out of high school. You suffered an injury. Kind of who has been, maybe not just one person, maybe it's whatever, just who's kind of been there in your corner this entire time. Like who have you kind of leaned to, turn to, or maybe like is there like an artist, like maybe a musician or something like that you've kind of leaned on and turned to, something along the lines of that? Like who's just kind of, what have you been doing to keep your head on and keep your head up and forward and pursuing your dreams still?
So like I would say I'm gonna go in the order from like my parents, my mom and dad has been like the closest to, like they've been keeping me going. Like it's just always like when I first transferred to JUCO, they wanted me to do that though. But when I first did that, I was like, my parents was with me. Like they came on the visits with me. They came to Iowa with me, came to New York City with me, and like came to Temple with me. So like my parents have mostly been in my corner the most. Like they always made me like always help guided every decision I made, was always the ones who was there for me. And my two close friends I got back at home, Mello and Justin, and my other boy Ja, like they always been with me the whole process, like keeping me humble, keeping me motivated. And they were like there for me the most when I got hurt, like just tell me like if anybody's gonna come back from it, it's gonna be you. And like with their like the athleticism you have, like just they was just always in my corner. And then music, man, I gotta say, Rod Weave and NBA YoungBoy has helped me so much in this process, man. I think at JUCO, NBA YoungBoy was like my favorite artist. Like he got me through everything. Like NBA. Anytime I had a bad mood, I listened to this song. Anytime I was mad at somebody, I listened to this song. Anytime I was like having a good day, I listened to this song. NBA YoungBoy, he was that dude from like 2017 to 2019. And then Rod Wave hit the scene for me in like 2020. Like my end of first year at Temple, second year at Temple, Rod Wave he just took over.
Yeah. And music, bro. The power of music is just special, bro. Like it's insane. Like you can be you can be in your feelings, dog, but like you hear that one song and you're just like, bro, fuck feelings. Like it's lit now. But how would you best describe what you're gonna bring to your next school and your next football team?
I think I'm gonna be hungry. I'm gonna be so hungry. Like the goal that I got, I just like my whole life, I just always wanted to be the best like football player ever. And, like I watched like growing up watching like Tavon Austin and Saquon and Odell, all their highlight tapes, and like Tyreek Hill's, like all their highlight tapes. Like I know, like I used to watch them on TV. Like yo, I know I can do that for a fact. Like I'm gonna be that person who gets highlights where those kids watch my highlight tapes. So like, and like I always knew, like since I was a kid, I'm gonna go pro. Like I'm gonna go to the NFL because I've always had like, not to sound like arrogant or anything, but I always had like a athleticism that most kids just didn't have. So like growing up, I was always like the most athletic one. Like I was always like a freak athlete when it came to track and field, football, and basketball. So like at my next school, I just know I'm gonna be humble, gonna do what it takes to do in the classroom, get on the field, do what I gotta do, and I'm just gonna grind to get to the league. Hopefully I could leave this year, depending on how good the year is, ball out, go crazy, trying to bring my team a national championship. Wherever I go, I'm trying to win a national championship. So if it's FCS, I want to win a national championship at the FCS level. If it's FBS, I want to win it at the FBS level. The only difference is if I ended up in a group of 5 FBS, you're not going to go to a national championship game. But so we're going to win that. Whatever bowl game or group of 5 game we're going to go to.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're about to enter the rapid fire segment. You don't have to answer them quick, but this is just going to allow people to get to know you on a more personal level. So, okay. First and foremost, give me your top 3 artists you're bumping pregame.
Rod Wave, NBA YoungBoy, and Lil Durk.
All right, you about to fuck some shit up out there. All right, would you rather fight an alligator or a grizzly bear, and why?
I'd rather fight an alligator because I feel like an alligator I could low-key run from. I could get behind it. A grizzly bear, I got no hope against a grizzly bear. I've did studies on them. A grizzly bear is they get to like 15 or 30 feet or something like that when they stand up. And they got the biggest paws. If that thing gets one slap clean on me, his paws going deep, I might be dead on the first cut. An alligator doesn't got no paw, like no like claw, like it's only got teeth that could really do something to me. So if I could just get behind an alligator, you could choke it.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I need to step up that question, bro. I've asked it to everybody, and every single time they say alligator. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather be physically stronger than most people in the world, or would you rather be able to fly at will, just whenever you want, just be able to fly?
I'd rather be able to fly at will.
Oh man.
It depends on the speed. If I could fly like a fast dude, I could get from point A to point B. So whenever I want to go on a trip to like Miami, LA, Vegas, New York City, I could be there quick, flying. Get to all my destinations. I won't need a driver's license. Won't ever need a car. I choose flying easily because physical strength you could work on. You could be in the weight room and you could work on that. Flying, nobody can do that.
That is true. That's a good point. All right, last one, because you play both running back and DB. So got to ask it. Would you rather score on the ground, take that little tutty real quick, or would you rather snag a pick in the end zone, keeping the other team, erasing their points off the board. So you're ending their drive. They're in the red zone. You pick it off in the end zone. Which one would you rather do? Take points off the board, or would you rather put points on the board?
I'd rather get a pick six. I'd go with the defensive interception because that's not common. A pick six that's not an easy thing to do. And especially if imagine you're playing the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, and it's him, and you pick off like a Tyreek Hill in the end zone, pick six. Not everybody's doing that. So I'd rather have a pick six.
For sure. I agree. For some reason, bro, I don't know what it is. Getting an interception is like 100 times better than scoring a touchdown sometimes, bro. It's just crazy. It's just like, all right, like you, not only did you make a play, but like you just hurt their feelings too. Like it's crazy. Facts. Turnover chain, get the
touchdowns are fun in like high school. Touchdowns was mad fun in high school, but I don't think a pick six is just as, I don't know what's better between a pick six or a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
That is true. I don't know. I think I just prefer pick six, bro, because then you get the ball and it's just like such a spur of the moment thing, bro. Fumbles, you gotta like fight for it, probably break a finger, hurt your feelings, all that shit.
Yes, sir.
Get some 320-pound offensive lineman laying on your ass, bro. It's sweaty. Nah, I'll take the pick. Who's the best player you've ever played with and against in your entire life?
Saquon Barkley.
You played with Saquon?
Played him in high school twice.
Damn.
The first time I played him, I was a freshman. He was a junior, and I think he had like 3 or 4 touchdowns. It was a playoff game. They beat us by like 2 touchdowns. And then the second time we played him, the first play of the game was a 97-yard touchdown. The very, very first play of the game. So I think he dropped the kickoff return out of bounds at like the 3-yard line or whatever the heck happened. And then the first play of the game, 97-yard touchdown, bro. He had like 4 or 5 touchdowns that game.
Was he like their entire team?
Kinda, yeah. Like the whole. They had another nice player. It was the quarterback, and then they had a good like fullback who went to Lehigh, I want to say. But he had like 2-3 sacks that game too at linebacker.
Oh damn! Who's the best you've ever played with?
I want to say at my junior college, it was 2 of them, both 2 of the same players, Kyle Himby and Kai Loxley. Kai Loxley was probably the best live quarterback I've ever seen. He won like a JUCO Offensive Player of the Year and JUCO MVP when I was in Iowa Western. He was like the Cam Newton to JUCO. Like when Cam Newton was on Auburn, he was like the best player, like quarterback live that I seen him. And on defense, it was Kyle Hemby. Kyle was like one of the best safeties, like the best safety I've seen. He's at Southern Miss right now, entered his name in the draft, but he was the best defensive player I've played with. And then Kyle Loxley was easily the best offensive player I've played with. He was nasty.
Yeah, for sure. How would you define success? Like in your own words, maybe it's, a lot of people define it as like winning accolades, stuff like that. How would you define success?
I define it as in like when you're successful, when I look at it as if when you're like, all right, this is how I always like looked at it. When you're wealthy, no, when you're rich, you're balling. But when you're wealthy, your kids is balling. So I look at it when you're successful, your kids are successful and everyone around you is successful. Like you've made it, but everyone around you's made it out. Like you've impacted everyone else's life. So that's how I see what being successful is. Like I'm not just balling, I made everyone around me balling.
Yeah, for sure. That's always the best too, bros. Whenever like you surround yourself with your friends, you guys kind of just come up together and then you see the whole squad eating, just like, just like, for example, like your boy Josh, and my boy Josh, our friend Joshua Victor, friend of the show, he's been doing his thing. He's been grinding, bro. And so now he's just like connected me to you, bro. And you doing your thing, you're grinding, I'm grinding, we're all grinding, bro. The whole squad eating, bro. That's gonna be the best thing, bro. Whenever we up at the top, like about to just look back on this little podcast and be like, what's up with it? Like, that's the plan. All right. One last question for you, Mike. What kind of advice can you give to the young athletes out there trying to chase their dreams of playing Division I football?
Grades is everything. If you don't have the grades, you will not go nowhere. You could be LeBron James of basketball, Zion Williamson of basketball, Tyreek Hill of football. If you don't have like a over a 2.3, you're not going nowhere. Grades is everything, because I could have picked my school out of high school, but I didn't have the grades. Like, I didn't realize it was that important. So, like, grades is everything, man. You could be the best player in the world, but if you don't have the grades, you're not going nowhere. Basketball kind of got lucky because they made it where they lowered the draft age and they could go play overseas and go to the G League, so they got lucky. But if you're not like the top 3 player in the nation, you're not going to be able to do that. So grades is everything. If I had to tell any of the young kids, it's grades, bro. Grades are listen to your parents, because your parents knows best and wants what's best for you.
Definitely. All right, my man. Where can we all follow you at?
Twitter. The thing my Twitter name is Mike_Mikey Mitch with 3 Y's. So like Mikey with 3 Y's and _ Mitch. And then my Instagram handle is @ShiftyMitch.
All right, my man. I appreciate you hopping on the show today on such short notice. Literally hit you up late last night, and got you on the show today. So you know it's lit. But yeah, bro, I'm gonna be tuned into your journey. I'm super excited for you, man. I'm really excited to see how this whole thing plays out for you, bro.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate you for having me, man. Appreciate it.